And really, it's not titled Sad Accident, right?
Aka. Sure.
Yeah, some of you are reading the actual title.
Slush, Nasaika, Guanasum, Slush, Nanich. The screen is.
Kata Joset Yaka Mimlos.
Mimlos, yeah.
How Joset Died is the title. Where's my cursor here? Right here in BC's alphabet, right? The Chinook Pipa.
Slush, Masaika, Kau, Nay.
Plus Masaika Guanasum, Plus Nanich, Plus Wake Masaika Tsepi. There's the word. Tsepi.
That's the sense that they didn't have.
It's like to act badly, to make a mistake. Yeah.
But it's like because they die and are, you're gonna go to hell, right? If you're like,
yeah. Some would call
like
this
sinful
victim blaming. Yeah. Week Masaika Gumtux Gachsan Masaika Cupid Kapoko Kelahe Peslatwa Kupakach Sachli Mamu Courthouse Masaika. And I have altered a couple of the words in there, but we don't have to dwell on that right now. We can just go down to the actual reading. So yeah, here is the Chinook title as seen above. Kata Joset Yaka Memelos. How Joset she died. That's a wonderful 19th century popular French name right there. Josette, kind of the feminine of Joseph. There are a lot of girls and ladies who received this as a baptismal name in southern BC. In the late 1800s, that is, and indigenous women and girls. Hey, what am I doing? Somebody stop me. I have not written down a list of participants this time, and it occurs to me to ask for volunteers. Would one of you folks like to take the first paragraph?
Sure, I can do it. All right.
Nominate Alex.
Slush Masaika Quanasum Slush Nanich Pasalo Masaika Tipi. Halo Masaika Comtax Kach San Masaika Kopit Kopuko Kilihi Sadwa Kopa Kach Sachli Tai Mamu Courthouse Masaika. So like watch like always you. So always you all watch out that you're not wrong, but maybe like what was the definition we were seeing, like sinful or something like that, like morally incorrect. You don't know when you will die or stop literally on the earth and go to where God will judge you.
Ayumasi Alex. Klush Masaika Quanas and Klush Nanich, plus Halo Masaika Tsipi. Halo Masaika Gumtux. I need to fix a couple spellings. Sorry. Halo Masaika Gumtux Gachsan Masaika Gopit Kappa Ukokelahi. Pislat Wakopakach Sachli Tai Mamu Courthouse Masaika. And essentially everything Alex said is correct. The end. Goodbye. Talk to you next week. But a couple things to point out. So flush is what's the basic meaning of flush, if I ask all of you? Good. And throw it at the beginning of a sentence and it pretty much makes a request or a command.
Please.
So Masaika, the plural you folks, So let you folks always good watch or watch out. Okay, so you folks should always watch out. Okay, you can either phrase it as a command or kind of should when you have that swoosh at the beginning. So good you folks always good watch is the literal meaning of each word in a row here. You folks should always watch out so that not you folks be mistaken, right? So that you're not in the wrong, you might say. Not you folks know where day, this crazy BC expression for when, not you folks know where day you folks be finished on this earth and go to where above the above chief make courthouse you folks. Again, BC expression in this is the Mamuk courthouse. That's very, very BC for judgment. And again, I don't know what the heck I just did to this poor document. There we go. So yeah, I can envision, you know, as we proceed, right, making more people fluent in Chinukwawa and we get it into the schools and teach classes in it, right? You can use this expression, you know, to Mamuk courthouse as sort of to judge, evaluate, you know, pick the best answer in a multiple choice test, you know,
Grade their paper.
and to grade papers, right? Sorry, mark papers, I was taught to say when I was at University of Victoria. And yeah, Mamuk courthouse. So a BC word that should be used in BC again. And it's also used in legal contexts, contexts in jargon. It is used, you know, to speak of judges in an actual courthouse. Okay, thank you. Who's next?
I'll do the little one.
Yay.
Okay, Nanich, Chi Alta Copa December 24th, Tennis Hayu Tilicum Copa Nicola Ilahi Tiki Chaco, Copa Kamloops, Copa Christmas. Nanich at the front of the paragraph is like a command then?
It's a command to do what? Yeah.
Okay, look, see. Just now on December 24th, several people from Nicola Land want to come to Kamloops for Christmas.
Nicely done. Thank you. Nanich, Chi Alta, notice the two H's, everybody. Chi Alta, Copa December 24. Tanasayu Delicum Copa Nicola Ilahi, take it Chaco Copa Kamloops, Copa Christmas. So look, so right, he's giving an example, this writer is, an example of why you should be vigilant that you're not sleepy in your life. Look, just now, on December 24th, several people from the Nicola area wanted to come to Kamloops for Christmas. And I guess I could, again, go over that sort of word by word. So it's look or see, newly, now, and that's how Chinukwawa says just now, on December 24, or, you know, moxt dothlam p locket, Dunas Hayu, a little many people from the Nicola country, south of Kamloops. In English or in that place now, they just say the Nicola. So several people from the Nicola wanted to come to Kamloops for Christmas. And just a very brief reflection further, how many translations of Copa do we have here in this one sentence, right? On December 24, these people from Nicola wanted to come to Kamloops for Christmas, right? So To the English-speaking ear, that's 4 separate words, and in jargon, it's one word, copa. This preposition that does a lot of work for us. Thank you for your service, copa, as we say in America. Okay, good. Yeah. Who would like to go next?
Oh, I can do one.
Well, I'll
Uh-huh.
try.
I heard Norbert first. Is that right?
That's okay.
All right. Icht man, jaka name Mike, jaka chako kopa icht hayas tik tik. Kana moxt jaka Hluchman jaka name Josette. Michelle Chilhitza jaka tenas okok Josette.
Mhm.
So one man, or you told us a certain man, some man whose name is Mike. He went in a big wagon,
Mhm.
in a big car, together with his wife. Her name is Josette, was Josette, Michelle Chilhitza's daughter, that Josette was.
Mhm. Ja, slush, late slush. Ich man jaka name Mike, jaka chako kopa ich hayas tik tik. Kanamox jaka Hluchman jaka name Josette. Michelle Chilhitza jaka tana soko Josette. So yeah, I will do the word by word version next. One man, his name Mike, he come in one big wagon with his wife, her name Josette. Michelle Chilhitza, his child, that Josette. And yeah, as Norbert was telling everybody there, with full accuracy, yeah, ich is not just the numeral for one, but it always, 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 always carries the overtone from the indigenous history of it, of meaning a certain one or some different one. And as a matter of fact, some of you read my website, chinookjargon.com, for anybody who's watching this. I recently started to show a newly discovered document, right? The Chinookwa vocabulary notebooks, etc., of a missionary who had worked in BC, Honoré Timothée Lamfrey. And anyway, in Lamfrey's notebook, as you folks will be seeing soon, he actually observes in 1849 that this word "icht" has all of those properties. I think he was the first person to write that down. I don't remember seeing it, pointed out so clearly by anybody in the past. Anyway, yeah, one man, so a certain man, his name Mike, he came in one big wagon. You could leave out the "icht" there, to be honest. That's a French accent of the writer, Father Lejeune.
Mhm.
With or together with is the idea of Conomoxt. It's always together with. It's not with as in like, I made dinner with an oven. It's not like the instrument or tool that you use for things, or I wrote my assignment with a pencil. You would not use Conomoxt. That'd be copa. Conomoxt just means being together with, and usually physically together with, in the same space with somebody or something. Okay, with his woman, and that is the usual way that you would say your wife. With his woman, her name Josette, and that's a relative clause in the jargon. Okay, with his woman who's named Josette. And here's a big name for you, so to speak. Michel, or Michael, a French baptismal name of an indigenous man. Chilhitsa is a very important chief family in Nicola country. Mostly sort of Syilx, Okanagan, Salish people. There's still Chilhitsas today, very prominent in the community. So Michelle Chilhitsa. Oh, sorry, one more thing, of course, that I've got to say about that name. Chief Johnny Chilhitsa went to Europe with Father Lejeune and Chief Louis of Kamloops. And we have this amazing 64-page document of that in Chinookwawah that I've previously shown on my website. Anyway, so this is Johnny Chilhitsa, the chief's brother. Michelle Chilhitsa's daughter, this Josette. Okay, now we have the page break issue. Who would like to do this sentence, and then whatever we find, if there's more of the paragraph on the next page? I don't know if there is more of it.
There isn't more of it, so I'll volunteer.
Thank you.
Okuk Josette Lolo Yaka Tenas Yaka Kwa Ka Kopa Yaka Lashal Ilep Kopa Yaka Tum Tum.
I will fix that spelling, Rain. You noticed. Here we go. Cow.
This Okok Josette Lolo Yaka Tenas. This Josette carried her child. She tied to her shawl. Ilep Kopa Yaka Tum Tum. And only because I read ahead, I know to say that that means closest to her, well, heart, but yeah, they translate it as breast.
Yeah, there's an English translation that's also given in this 1890s newspaper, so you saw that. Yeah, Okok Josette Lolo Yaka Tanas Yaka Cow Kopa Yaka Lashal Ilop Kopa Yaka Tum Tum. So yeah, this Josette carried her child. Now this is a different Yaka from her. So she or he, the child, was tied up in her shawl in front of her heart. And an easy way to tell that this Yaka here in the middle is not Josette is the word cow. Does anybody know what I mean by that?
When it's by itself like that, it's tied. But if it was mambu cow, it would be to tie. So
Yeah.
the thing tied, like that yaka, is being tied. So it's not going to be the woman.
Yeah, so cow by itself, that's just what I was thinking as well. By itself, it's kind of an adjective. It means to be tied up, to be bound, etc., or even wrapped. Cow is used for to be wrapped. Yeah, so this Josette carried her child. It was wrapped in her shawl. A Canadian French word there, of course, la chale. In front from her heart. And just oh, gee whiz, look at that. That was my last internet search right there, the British Columbia orphans friend popping in. But just a comment, why do we say, Ilip Kopa, in front from her heart, instead of just, Ilip Yaka Tum Tum? Well, this is a generalization all across, Chinookwawah. There are very, very few prepositions. You heard me talking about how that Kopa word has many uses, so many translations in English that are all prepositions, on, from, at, for, etc. It's just about the only preposition. not quite, but it's just about the only one. And so things that are prepositions in English, like before, for example, before her heart, as in front of her heart. That's a preposition in English, but in jargon, you use an adverb, okay, in front, and then you use the preposition. So in front, from, or in front, at, or in front, to her heart. You would almost think, and this is the reason I'm dwelling on this for a moment, as say an English speaker and other languages might work this way. You might think, oh, yeah, obviously you'd say in front of, right? You'd think that the copa is of, that it's just the same structure as English, but it's a little bit different from maybe what your intuition says. Similarly, above my head, I think you would say, Sachali kopa naika latet. Sachali, above, kopa, from, naika latet. Or downstream from Kamloops, you would say, Kikuli kopa Kamloops. Right? So you don't say Sachli naika latet. That's saying my head is high. It actually means I'm arrogant and conceited. And you wouldn't say, Kikuli Kamloops, typically. That would mean that, Kamloops is downstream, or Kamloops is low or short, which it may have been at that time. So just a little observation, yeah?
It's a baby and it's winter. And I just noticed that with my friends and just neighbors that on the West Coast, now everything's mostly in English, but there's always links back to their original language. And whenever you talk about something that's important, it has to come from your heart, right? So I just think that just like what would be the most important thing. So she has it close to her heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the baby at Christmas in the middle of the winter in a wagon.
Yeah.
It kind of shows a value too, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm really happy that you point that. I actually find this quite beautiful wording right here. It's just excellent, fluent Chinakwawa, not just for its imagery too, but it really is saying a lot with few words. This language supposedly required you to just kind of talk your way around stuff, saying lots and lots of words because it wasn't as precise as English or French, but in reality, excellent Chinakwawa is very concise. It's very tight and powerful like this. Saying that the baby is in front of your heart, right? That's how you should say that, it was on her chest, but it's not saying, literal words, to be on the chest or on the breasts or whatever literal meaning.
Well, it shows a value because if it's on the chest, that's just descriptive of keeping the baby warm.
Mm-hmm.
But when it's near her heart, you've changed the whole value, right? Like they're telling you what was, like it'll be interesting to see the way the story goes here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this wording, I admit, it also throws me into memories. This is how I remember. We were a baby wrapping family, so I always carried babies on purpose by my heart. Let's scroll down here. Aha, that was indeed Rain, the entire paragraph. How clever of you. Who would like this next one here? I don't know if it's time to restart the cycle.
I guess I haven't done anything yet, so maybe.
Oh.
Okay. Mox to Kopman, Klaska, sit down, Kopa Kimt Tanaskukum call. He Mike Halo Yaka Lolo Yaka Kutan, Klaska lines, Kopa Yaka Lema. Pokok lines, Mishlike Kopa Yaka Ni.
Mm-hmm.
So two white men, they sit down in behind, and it is a little hard cold.
Mhm.
And Mike, he doesn't carry the horse, his lines on his hand. These lines are on his knee.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you can see where that's leading, everybody. So it's very cold, December 24th. All right, yeah, moxt kop man klaska sit down kop akem ta. Dan a skoogum ko pi Mike halo yaka lolo yaka kiotan klaska lines kopa yaka lama. Okok lines mitleid kopa yaka ni. So two white men. This is a BC dialect word right here, to literally say white man. So two white men, they were sitting, another BC verb right here, sit down, in the back. Again, you have kopa kimta. You don't just say that they were sitting behind, kimta. You'd typically say they were sitting kopa kimta, in behind. They were sitting in the back of the wagon. A little powerful is the meaning literally of this here, a little powerful. So, rather hard. It was rather a hard cold, right? A rather harsh cold. And Mike, not he carry his horses, their lines, right? Their reins in his hand. Those lines were located on his BC word right here, knee. It's actually rather hard to say knee in Chinookawa if you don't use this word. Look it up sometime. We had a story from Grand Ronde that we went over, I don't know, last summer or summer before. I remember summer somehow. But it refers to putting the skin of a camas bulb over somebody's knee, demonstrating just the size of it. In other words, the size of a kneecap. And it never uses actually an expression for knee in jargon whatsoever. The storyteller must have told the linguist who wrote it down, Melville Jacobs. The storyteller must have kind of just gestured, right, with their hand on their knee, which is a common thing to do.
Does ashnu or ajnu ever mean the knee itself, or just kneeling?
No. Good question. Yeah. Jargon has had way back to early times, because of priests, it's had this expression ajnu, which is from Canadian French, meaning on knees, on one's knees, and it means kneeling. It means to kneel, but it never, strangely enough, refers to the knee. Never seen a clear noun for knee. And by the way, that ashnu is a strange word for jargon to borrow, right? It's one of the incredibly few instances where a French preposition got borrowed into Chinookawa, right? That at the beginning. I can hardly think of any other example where a French preposition came in to this language.
The word to cope man. What dialect is the to cope, the white?
That's standard Chinookawa's word for the color white.
Okay.
In the past, people always specified sort of what nationality a settler was, at least into two major groups, right? It was broadly understood to be, Kinchoch, Telecom, which is British, versus Boston Telecom, which is Americans. Those were the important differences to know about in frontier times. But yeah, this is a BC expression. It's real funny because it's using a couple of very, very old, very fundamental Chinakwawa words, but it's actually a direct translation from English, right? As people were speaking in the 1890s in BC. Everyone at that time spoke of white men, white men, white men. So this is, local Chinakwawa translating that expression. And you also see proof of that in a synonym for this, right? Because BC jargon also says the words white man, even though white is not, a jargon word. In fact, white only occurs in the expression white man. So there's a lot of history, as always, in even just a couple of words of this language. Oh, here's a big paragraph. Oh my gosh. Who wants this? Or do you throw this back to your teacher?
Should we divide it?
Well,
Divide it in
How
two?
much of this do you want? Stop reading when you are done, okay?
are you taking this, Norbert? Or is it back to me now?
Okay, Norbert has claim on it.
Yeah.
How about the first sentence here?
Till the way hut, yeah, good.
Okay.
There's a sentence ending. Good. Puslaska o 20-mile Copa Kamloops Oichot Latwa Kikwali Halo Copa Icht Longleg Yaka Kiudan Marsh Oichot Joset Ayak Iskom Icht Line Pus Yaka Pul Okok Mox Kiudan Pus Klaska Kilapai Copa Oichot.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I'm fixing something.
The oi always sounds strange to me because I see it as way hut.
Ah,
There would be a French spelling almost.
well, to a linguist, that's all the same. Linguists are strange people.
So when they had got 20 miles from Kamloops, yeah, I think that's it. 20 miles from Kamloops, the road went downwards and not on a certain long leg.
Or a single, I think, in this case. This might be just numeral one.
Right. Not in a single long leg. And her horse went away from the road, got off the road. Josette couldn't hold one rein to Jacob. And in order to pull, yeah, she pulled that second, horse, the two horses to make them come back to the road.
That's you understand it, yeah. 20 mile or max dathlam mile kupa kamloops. Oichet flatwa kikuli. Helo kupa echt long leg. Jaka kiot en maas oichet. Joset ayak iskamicht line. Pus jaka polo kok maxt kiot en puslaska kelapai kupa oichet. So yeah, when they arrived or when they reached 20 miles from Kamloops, the road went downward. Okay, again, kikuli is an adverb, so it's down or downward. Not in a single one long leg. I take this on reflection to mean the road is going downhill and winding, curving back and forth.
Switchback.
There you go. There you go. I'm trying to picture this area, but the modern highway between Kamloops and Nicola doesn't have this particular feature as far as I remember. Yeah, it's engineered differently. So his, yeah, because we were talking about Mike. So his horses left, they mosh the oichet. They left the road. Josette quickly grabbed one line in order that she could pull those two horses so that they would return to the road. And Alex, I think you were ready for the next segment here. Oh my God, this is long. How about this much?
Pilain Chaco Cockshit Pioko Mox Cutan Shadwa Koba Kikuli Be Tick Tick Gana Mox Tlaska Pioko Josette Fall Down Saya Koba Kikuli Piaka Chaco High Yud Cockshit. So and the line broke, and those two horses went down, and the carriage with them, and that Josette fell down far down, and she really was hurt.
Yes. I'll add a dash up here. Yeah. Pilain Chaco Kakshit, Piokok Moxt, Kyotan Slatwa Kopakikuli, Pits Ek Kanamox Slaska, Piokok Josette Fall Down Saya Kopakikuli, Piaka Chaco Hayo Kakshit. Most of the things I would say about that are repetitions of previous comments today. So I'm going to move on. Anybody?
I can take this one.
Okay.
Yaka latet hayu kakshut, moxt yaka arm tlaska kakshut, wusht yaka ribs hayu kakshut, pi yaka ayak memalus tlaska wawa, halo wan minute, pi yaka memalus. So her
Latet.
the head very broken. To her arms they broke. Her two arms they broke. Also her ribs very broken. And she soon died. They said not 1 minute and she died.
Nice, yeah. Yaka latet hayu kakshit, moxt yaka arm tlaska kakshit, wacht yaka ribs hayu kakshit, piyaka ayak memalus, tlaska wawa hilo 1 minute piyaka memalus. Of course, you guys can pick out the newer English words in BC jargon here, that other regions do not have, right? So arm is pretty new. Previously you would just say lima for the hand and the arm. This whole segment of the body was lima. from the French word for hand. But BC jargon has arm, ribs, of course, just has the look, it came straight from English. It didn't get turned into anything different. And it's replacing an old word you see in dictionaries sometimes. It's something like Ishlan will.
Ishlan, yeah.
And, oh yeah, here, clearly taken straight out of local English, right? We've talked about how when you talk about quantities of things in BC jargon, you very often use actually the English expression. So 1 minute. Okay.
Is that Tinas Tintin? Would that be minute? Tinas Tintin?
Oh, that's a made up word.
Oh, okay, it's not a real word.
Nobody says that.
Is there any way to say minute or not?
Minute. I mean, nobody had to talk about minutes until, let's say, the 1890s, when things were more sort of urbanized and settled and so forth. And time was more scheduled and regimented. But if we go back to the, fabled fur trade days, being accurate to the minute was just not a situation that you ever encountered, right?
Okay, good.
It was nonsense to say you would show up at Fort Vancouver at 11:37 a.m. on July 27. That never happened.
People didn't have watches or clocks too.
And watches and clocks were extremely expensive in frontier days, yeah. So yeah, again, you have to think of the culture. Susan was talking about cultural stuff, and here you have to realize part of that picture is in the 1890s you have more commodities available for purchase, and they're more in use, and life was structured differently because there were more settlers and things were done in more of a settler way, including this idea that time is divided into hours and minutes. Yeah. How do I divide this paragraph in half? Maybe right here. And is there a volunteer? Or again, just make me read something if you want. Okay, I got it. Piyakatanas, elo klap ik de kakshit, elo klap ik de sik. Pimaik, yakaman, yakawacht hayu kakshit. Pihelo yaka memelos. Kansichsan yaka mitleid. Kopa ich kopman yaka house. Weeksea kach yaka kakshit. Yaka name kopman Reggie McDonald. I'm going to continue. Kimta flaska lolo yaka kopa Jimmy Michelle yaka house kopa Nicola. Kimta wacht flaska lolo yaka kopa yaka ilahi kopa shulas. Hayas lele yaka mitleid kakopus sitka memelos. Piyaka chakotana slushalta. Translating that. And her child did not receive any injury, did not receive or get any illness. And Mike, her husband, he also was very hurt, but he did not die. Several days he was located at a certain white man's house, not far or near where he was injured. His name, this white man, was Reggie McDonald. Afterwards, Kimta, they carried him to Jimmy Michelle's house at Nicola. Jimmy Michelle was a prominent member of the indigenous community there, and a Chinook paper writer, by the way. Afterwards, still later, they carried him to his Ilahi, his home community at Shulas, which is a bit west of there. I think of it more as a Thompson Salish community. Very long time he laid as if half dead, and but he is getting a bit better now.
It's a good word for zombie.
Sitka memelos. A common expression, by the way. I've said that on my website to my readers. Sitka memelos is a real deal. Chinukwawa idiom. People use it a lot. Not to mean a zombie, but just to mean you're, in terrible shape.
Or is that depressed?
Could be. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know offhand if I've seen it in that context. But yeah, I mean, it is just generally being in terrible, terrible shape. It reminds me in Lower Chehalis language, Southwest Washington, that I work on. They have, just a word. They have an Indian word that, elders define it as something like worn out, not just in body, but in soul too. They're very clear about that. It's just completely thrashed, as we would say in the 80s. So yeah, and her child, didn't clap, didn't wind up having, right? Because that clap word, there I go, losing control of the scrolling again. But clap is stuff that's out of your control, right? So that child didn't wind up getting anything, injury, any kind of injury, and didn't wind up having any kind of sick. In jargon, sick does mean sickness, illness, disease. It's a noun for sure. It's even a character in some of the stories we see, native stories. Sick can be a being, I don't want to go through all of this paragraph in great detail. Again, it involves more occurrences of some things I've said. So I'll put in footnotes, of course, for you guys about that stuff. I think we can finish up this entire reading selection today, though. Would someone like a quick paragraph?
Me, I'd like a little one.
Okay.
Okok mokst the cop man midlight kopa sik kanamoks tlaska ayak jump kopa ilahi pihilo tlaska tlap kakshit. So then I forget what mox means, but then the white man is
two.
So then the white man's gonna take the wagon kind of amongst to all of us.
Conamoxt is with them.
With them. And then I'm not sure because there's words in there I don't know, but it's Ilahi is land, to the
yeah, so they quickly jumped to the ground.
To the ground. And then I don't know what that never something not negative.
Yeah, and not they wind up getting injured.
Oh, right, because the white men were in the wagon too.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it says is those two white men who were in the wagon together with them. They quickly jumped to the ground and they did not wind up getting hurt. Probably helped being like sitting in the back. Maybe they could see stuff coming just an instant before the folks in front could react. Okay, how about this fragment here? Anybody?
Okay, sure. Kanaway ka ilahi tilikam pos klaska kolan okok chako hayu tumtum okok tilikam. ... Okay. Kanawe ka ilahi telecom, all from everywhere, from all over the land, people, when pose klaska clone okok, when they hear this, chako hayu tum tum, come much heartache or heart, come much heart, these people. I'm not too sure what Chaco Hayu Tum Tum is.
Okay, yeah, it comes down to what sense of tum tum we have here. So it's about these people and what they will be doing when they hear this. To me, that's they're going to be thinking or feeling.
Oh, much to think about. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, Dave.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, Kanawe ka ilhi, everywhere place people. So people of all places. When they hear this, they will come to much feel, you might say, because tum tum is also heart. They will have many feelings. They'll be moved, we might say. Yeah, these people ... to be continued down here.
When I've seen that Hayu Tum Tum before in different contexts, it made sense as like being confused.
Yeah, absolutely true that Hayu Tum Tum, many hearts can mean having doubt and confusion and so on. Let's see here. What is it? What is it going to mean that the people have many, tum tum, much feeling?
Can we read grief into that?
Well, I doubt that. I think we would
Okay.
see a more obviously negative word if that was meant.
Fair enough.
Here's a repetition of that last word tilicum here. So okok tilicum chaco copa kamloops, P wig say a Christmas polikly, P wig lele bus sluska o copa kamloops, sluska halo tum tum ikta, P sluska chaco ayak kakshat, P oko kluchman yaka mamelus. I have a spelling to repair there as well. So Okotilicum, these people who were coming to Kamloops, and it was almost Christmas Eve, and soon, right, it wouldn't be long that they should arrive. They should arrive or would arrive at Kamloops. They weren't thinking anything, right? There's nothing on their minds. And or they weren't expecting anything. Tum tum can be to expect anything, any mental activity. And they became quickly hurt. And that woman, she died. Right, so here the contrast that is being made, right? These folks weren't tum tum anything. They weren't thinking anything. So those who hear this story, they're going to chaco hayu dum dum. They're going to have many thoughts. They're going to become quite thoughtful, pensive, preoccupied.
Maybe Dave, you should motor through the end because I think we're
at the end of our time. Yeah, so wucht kanwe masaika, mamok masaika, tum kopa okok, flushnanich pus helo masaika, slatwa kopaks ipi mamok, kachsan helo masaika kamtax, kachsan helo masaika tum yawa sachli tai mamok kopet masaika, kopa okok ilahi, piaka mamu courthouse masaika. So also all of you folks, make your minds about this, okay? So put your thoughts into this. Take care that you folks don't go into erroneous actions. It's ipimamok, okay? Misbehavior, etc. When you folks don't even know, when you folks don't think or expect it, then God will finish you. Oh my gosh. God will finish you on this earth, and he will judge you. I will give you folks a bunch of comments in the final document, guiding you through all that. And then this is the last bit. Iktamamuk telekum hayunanich iktakakwa pihelu flaska chaku kwash helu flaska chaku tumtum kopa ikta. So the priestly editorial comment: why do people read such a thing, but they don't become afraid? They don't become thoughtful about anything. And so there's a very, Christian missionary point of view right there. There you have it. Hayumasi kanamikhlaksta.
Yes, hayumasi wucht.
Good stuff.
Thank you very much, Dave. And here we are, 9:03. Unless anybody's got anything to say, I'm going to hit the red button. Alex, you got anything to offer us?
If you guys didn't see, I posted a video in the Chinook Jargon Facebook group of a Slahal song with some taunts in it, some Chinook jargon being yelled over top.
Okay.
That was pretty good.
I need to listen to that again. I just had my phone when you put that up. I need to listen to it on a better speaker, see if more of the words come through. And then somebody replied by posting Love Song by Mungo.
Yeah, I don't think that it's in Chinook jargon. I don't have Spotify, but I've seen Mungo's Love Song before from that same record, and it's not in Chinook.
That was my memory too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to it just before the session. I clicked on that, and it's several people drumming, and I couldn't make out any jargon words. I think it's
that's the Love Song that I posted.
Mm-hmm.
That one I can hear high ass Tlush again, like Ili, which is Ilahi.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Kakwa, I think I could hear. I don't know. It's quite hard to understand in that one.
Okay.
But that's not the Mungo Martin Love Song. That's a different one.
And that's it then, folks. Thank you very much. Everybody stay safe, and we'll see you all next Saturday. Klahaya.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.